think they need a little help getting this started.
My goodness, I think he's dead.
About a year ago, I watched a sci-fi thriller called The Cloverfield Paradox. It didn't exactly get the best reviews, but I enjoyed it, and it just so happened to inspire me to be keen on writing my own slasher thriller type story. So I got an exercise book and a random word generator and began coming up with quirky names for some brand new characters. I wrote the names on bits of paper and chose them randomly to work out who would play what role in the story. I spent a few months working on character designs, then I began writing short stories, centralized around each one of the characters, so I could give each of them a decent amount of development. Nowadays You Can Build Rome in a Day was about telekinetic Rose Malasek, rejected and despised by his hometown for working on the construction of the new mall. Lost Liberty and the Indelible Pursuit of Happiness was about Pelle Winklefaden's visit to the psychologist and the manic-depressive consequences of his ability to remember everything. Never Fall in Love with Your Olive Garden Waiter was about Namiva Smith. She is blind, but she can get people to do anything for her, even unintentionally, to her benefit or detriment. This is also where the story starts to connect. The waiter in question is Paolo, and the character the next story focuses on, Lofgott Siona Page, is the guy helping her to get with Paolo. So it continues on from there. Lofgott, the magician who can read people's intentions, Arlie, the lava girl on the run through Canadian snowfields, Arlie's old best friend, Wolf Boy Tuck Verdemuir, and that was where I got up to in terms of the stories before I got too busy with other stuff. But I also started on a comic as the actual thriller part of the story, where all of the characters have finally come together. Because, if you can recall, that was the point of it all originally. To basically recreate And Then There Were None, except with people who look like aliens and had powers, but were also basically regular Americans and Canadians and Australians. I actually tried to design some new planets and countries and things for them, but the urge to name drop random American states was just too great. Except then I got too invested in my characters to want to kill them off, and I kind of just forgot about it, and I've just been focusing on my main story, drawing a million comics for that instead. Now, if you'll recall, this video wasn't called I wrote the non-slasher thriller half of a slasher thriller one time, and it was also sci-fi. So, let's take a look at my main story then. It's never properly been a slasher thriller, but it sort of has been every now and again. For example, one of the longest standing plot elements is this mystery behind a Romeo and Juliet themed attempted murder disguised as a suicide pact, starring 10th grade Eddie and Madeline as victims and detectives. And I recently redrew that as a comic, and I still can't draw, which is probably why I don't want to commit to the thriller thing, because I can't draw slasher scenes. Then there were a few characters who I intended to kill off as part of the murder mystery, but yeah, I got too attached to them as well. That's the problem. Every single time I'm like, yes, they're dispensable. No, they're not. No, they're not. Please, come back. I need you. At this point, I'm still not sure what exactly I actually want the genre of my main story to be. Like, where I'm going with it at the moment, it's just one massive timeline which has various things happening at various points. So I am tempted to make it a full-on horror, or maybe just have an alternative version that's a horror. But, okay, I have actually written a slasher thriller type thing. May I present Lillian's answer to Can you cause an everyone dies scenario by trying to avert one? This was a really weird story because I was trying to combine my characters and real people into a story, which I'd done before to a lesser extent, but now it was too much of a confusing compromise, especially by also trying to have a bit of continuity from the first comic I'd made and also answer this really rather complicated question by creating a situation that inadvertently causes the end of the world by trying to stop the end of the world. Then there was like 10 extra other little things involved to make it even more unnecessary. But it did kill off characters sequentially and suspiciously until the true perpetrator revealed themselves at the end and the world ended. So, one last example I have is this movie my cousins and I made a few years ago, just like an 11-minute short film, which is still one of my favorite things ever. Like every time I rewatch it, I am just laughing every 3 seconds because it is amazing. I love it so much. Anyway, I guess the best part of the comedy is because it's so amateur, you can see bits of improv and there's continuity errors that are fun to spot. It combines characters from Mean Girls with a Survivor-type game show, except eliminated contestants get killed off. It includes elements from the roleplay game Mafia. So in Mafia, the Mafia are trying to kill off the entire town before they get kicked out of town. There's an angel who can try to protect people from being killed, and a detective who can try to work out who the Mafia are, and a Joker who will pretend to be the Mafia, and so on. So each of the characters had a certain role that matched the Mafia game, basically. The film builds up to a climax of an epic battle on the beach where the remaining contestants discover who the traitors are, and, well, everyone gets killed. Except the camera guy.
Hey, I'm Everest. I've been living in the Amazon, the Himalayas, the Sahara. Haven't stepped foot in a house in 17 years. And I just love swimming with piranhas.
This is fully sick. No. Next time on Survival, we'll be using the Nutri Ninja. Buy that product right now. This is actually an advertisement for Swing. Get your home insurance from RNMA and RACQ Life Insurance. Amen.